Hi, welcome to my complete in-depth guide on Ruan Mei. In this video, I'll be going through everything you need to know about our first ever limited 5-star Harmony unit. I'll be covering what she does, how to play her best Relic and Planar sets, her best Relic and Planar stats, and her best teams. The hype around Ruan Mei has been pretty high. For some people, it is because she is our first limited 5-star Harmony unit, and for certain others, it is just because of her design. Before we start, I'll be giving away a supply pod / welcome moon / crystal card to my subscribers at 2k subs, so make sure you subscribe to enter. So, what does Ruan Mei do? Ruan Mei is a 5-star ice character following the path of Harmony. She is a support that buffs your team's damage and most importantly increases the break efficiency of your team, which means you break the enemy's toughness faster. Ruan Mei's skill, String Sings Slow Swirls, grants her Overtune. Overtune increases all allies' damage and weakness break efficiency by 50% for 3 turns. This by itself is already a very strong ability. The skill is AoE, so it increases all allies' damage, which is something we have only seen on Bronny's ult, and that is only crit damage. And not to mention, it also increases break efficiency, which if any of you guys have used that Nihility Blessing in Simulator Universe, you know how strong it is. Ruan Mei's ultimate, Petals to Stream, Repose in Dream, deploys a field that lasts for 2 turns. The field increases all allies all-type resist penetration, and their attacks apply Thanatoplum Rebloom, which makes it so when an enemy tries to recover from a weakness break, instead their actions are further delayed and they take additional damage. This ability is very strong, but I really want to emphasize one thing that makes this ultimate really broken. All-type resist penetration is a very good start to give. It essentially increases the amount of defense your team ignores when hitting the enemy. This is one of the rarest stats to get in this game and usually the one that boosts your damage the most, when compared to all other stats like crit damage, attack and whatnot. Ruan Mei's talent, similar to typical Relics, increases all other allies' speed and makes it so when an ally causes a weakness break, they take additional damage. It is a very simple but also absurdly strong at the same time. Because the skill and ult damage increase wasn't enough, we also have an unconditional speed increase, albeit not for herself. Ruan Mei's technique, Silken Serenade, grants her 1 stack of a skill when entering the battle. But where her technique really shines is in Simulator Universe, as she's literally part of it. In SU, when Ruan Mei has used her technique, all allies attacking an enemy will reduce the toughness regardless of their elements, and for every blessing, increase set attack toughness reduce damage, while also dealing additional damage when enemies are weakness broken. So basically in short, when you use her technique, enemy take toughness damage regardless of your attack's element. Then for every blessing, increase that damage at break efficiency, and if it does break, they take more damage. So we've seen Topaz do something with SU in her technique, so it's always nice to see these little things that make SU just a little bit more interesting. Ruan Mei's first bonus trace, Inert Respiration, increases all allies' break effect by 20%. This is very good for herself too, as many parts of her kit scales off break effect. Ruan Mei's second bonus trace, Day's Wing, Thoughts Wax, regenerates 5 energy at the start of her turn. This is the same as what Tingyun has and is always nice. And finally, Ruan Mei's third bonus trace, Candlelights on Still Waters, increases all allies' damage by 6% for every 10% break effect over 120%. It can increase damage up to 36%. Because the skill increasing damage wasn't enough. But anyways, this bonus ability gives us a nice stopping point for how much break effect you should build on her. Her talent and her ultimate both have break effect scaling, but they don't have a limit. But this one does. So 180% break effect is the sweet spot we're looking for. For her level up priorities, level up her skill first, then her ult, then her talent. For bonus traces, aim to get Candle Lights first, then Day's Wing, then Inert. Her bonus stats look to prioritize break effect for Candle Lights and then speed. Now this brings me onto her best Relic and Planar sets, which is probably the most important part of this guide alongside their stats. Pretty obviously, getting 180% break effect is not easy. Your characters will always start with 0%. This is slightly alleviated by her first bonus trace and her break effect stat bonuses, which will add up to 57.3% break effect, but we are still looking for the rest of the 122.7% ourselves. To combat this problem, the best relic set for her will be a 4-piece Thief of Shooting Meteor. The 4-piece and 2-piece together will grant her 32% break effect, which will be a huge help, and additionally, the energy regen is always nice. But if you already have more than enough break effect on your substats, you can always look for a 4-piece Hackerspace as an alternative, or even a 4-piece Musketeer. However, if you're somewhere in the middle or just starting to build her, a 2-piece of any combination of these will do just fine. Now looking at Planar sets. The best option would be Pentaconi Land of the Dreams or Sprightly One Whack. Now I get it, most people will struggle to find enough break effect substats to reach that 180%, so Talia should be a better option, no? But we do have to remember that she still has the rest of her kit. If using Talia reduces the consistency uptime of her ult, then it's not worth it. Her ultimate at the end of the day is still a bigger part of her kit, so try to reach 180% break effect however you can, but try not to reduce her energy regen rate and negatively affect her ultimate uptime. Talking about her energy regen, now we get to her best Relic and Planar stats. For body, we are looking for HP or defense. Unlike Tingyun or Bronya, she doesn't have a main body stat that scales well with her. Tingyun has attack, Bronya has crit damage, so that means we can make her tankier. For boots, it will always be speed. For balls, we are looking for HP or defense. But for those looking for maximum value, use the opposite, meaning if you have a HP body, use defense balls and vice versa. And always use at least one defense percentage one, never both HP, because you already have HP main stat on your headgear. For the rope main stat, we really want energy regen. Again, break effect is an option if you really want to hit that 180%, but personally I suggest against it as we really want to be able to get ultimate whenever we can. Which brings us to her best light cones. Of course, as always, her signature light cone plus self in mirror will be her best in slot. It increases break effect by 60%, so all your break effect worries are gone if you have this. Not to mention, it also regens energy for everyone. Rip Hua Hua. But I do want to add in, especially if your Ruan Mei is really fast, this light cone isn't actually your best option for ultimate uptime, which is why I actually want to highlight memories of the past, especially as Super in position 5. This could actually be her best light cone. Reasons being is that at S5 it increases your break effect by 56%, only 4 less than her signature light cone, while also gaining 8 energy every time she attacks. This means that she's able to get enough energy to ult by skill basic, which means 100% ultimate uptime, while also having a break effect to reach 180%. And even at S1, that 28% break effect and full energy is still enough to make this one of her better options. However, if you don't have this light cone, but the battle isn't over and mission cogs at S5 will also be a nice option for high ultimate uptime, but for those, you probably struggle to reach that 180% break effect. At the end of the day, I personally recommend you try to get as much break effect as you can without using the break effect rope and the Talia Planar set. But if her ultimate uptime is no concern to you, feel free to do otherwise. Okay, now let's get to how to play her. Ruan Mei's playstyle is very simple. Ideally, you want to ult and then in 3 turns ult again as your ult lasts 2 turns but loses a turn at the start of her turn. However, that is not consistently possible unless you have something like S5 mission cogs, so losing 1 turn on your ultimate uptime is not a big deal. Then you want to use a skill and skill again after 3 turns, and then you just want a basic attack spam. So for her Eidolons, E1 is very good. If you assume Hoyo is consistent with the wording, E1's defense ignore should be the same thing as Genius or Breeding Star Relic set, which means it is extremely good. E2 is nice, but nothing as good as compared to E1. E3 and 5 are trace level upgrades, which is actually alright for a Harmony unit. E4 basically alleviates all break effect problems, which is nice, as for example, you can run another Relic set instead of Meteor comfortably without losing values on her bonus trace. And E6 kinda makes her a sub DPS, which is fun but nothing special. So all in all, E1 is very nice, but the rest is not really that worth it in my opinion. Now let's talk about Ruan Mei's best teams. If it isn't already obvious, Ruan Mei is a very versatile support that can be run anywhere, anytime. Just like Tingyun, she isn't really focused on one thing, but rather just there to increase your team's damage no matter what. What makes it special is that she doesn't increase attack, so current characters like Blade or future characters that do not scale over attack primarily will much prefer her over Tingyun or even Bronya to an extent. So while I'm not going to name out every single team she could be in, here are some of my favorite ones that I believe that she will perform the best in. First, we have Mono Eyes featuring Jinlu, Ruan Mei, Pella, and Japard. Now, I'm gonna be a bit harsh, but I still think Bronya is a better dedicated support for Jinlu. So while in Mono Eyes, Ruan Mei has a spot over her, but when we're talking about pure hyper carry Jinlu, Bronya is still better. However, that being said, teams that run Bronya with a Nihility unit character like Pella or Silverwolf, that Nihility spot can actually be replaced by Ruan Mei in a lot of cases. These teams are like Jinlu / Blade, Bronya, Ruan Mei, Locha. One extremely important part of her kit is that she is buffing all allies, so teams that are running multiple DPSs like this one or this one will favor Ruan Mei much more over all the other Harmony units and Nihility units. So yeah, Ruan Mei is looking to be an incredible support with some of the best buffs we have seen yet. Some may call her unskippable, and from a meta standpoint, honestly, I agree. But again, if you don't like her gameplay or her visuals, then skipping her will always be an option. Personally, I am really looking forward to her as I think break efficiency is very broken and should be a pretty fun mechanic too. Anyways, if you enjoyed, feel free to subscribe. Thanks for watching and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye!